With the recent oppressive policies from the Trump administration to target immigrants and Hispanic people, I want to focus some of my attention on some of the great art and movies Latino artists have brought to cinema, and see the great loss and talented when a bigoted government tries to oppress its own citizens. So today we're going to be talking about the very influential, low-budget, independent film El Mariachi. Sorry if I mispronounce anything in this video. It's to this day one of the most impressive debut films. A 23-year-old Robert Rodriguez with a budget of roughly $7,000 that he raised from being a human guinea pig from a drug company. He puts together a you got the wrong guy western type flick with very small crew and very low budget. This film is worth talking and praising about. The 90s had a renaissance of great indie low-budget directors, people like Richard Linklater, Kevin Smith, Tarantino, Spike Lee, and Rodriguez is one of those greats on that list. I've always had a lot of respect for Rodriguez's work. While not being super well versed in it, it seems he's able to make the art that he's passionate about while maintaining a level of control over the project that is impressive in today's Hollywood system. I do want to talk for a minute about Spy Kids, a video for another time of course, but it's probably where people from my generation were introduced to his work. And sure, it might not be the greatest movie or kids movie of all time, certainly no Time Bandits. It captures a lot of creativity and heart that most kids movies don't, especially at that time period. So I do want to give him his credit where he's due. But let's go back to the movie that launched his career. This film stars Carlos Garrillo, who plays El Mariachi, a criminal who breaks out of prison and gets back his iconic wardrobe and guitar case, a case that is full of guns and weapons. He's trying to get back at his dealer who owes him some money and wants to kill him. While at the same time, Domino is played by Consuelo Gomez, a starving artist who wanders into a dead-end western town. The problem with Domino is he shares the exact same iconic look with El Mariachi, the most wanted man in town. Let's start with the opening, probably what I would say the biggest flaw I see in this film, and just kind of how nonsensical it is. How did his friend somehow get this type of gun in prison? That seems quite insane. And if a guard was this corrupt and easy to manipulate, why didn't he break out of prison earlier? But nevertheless, the opening definitely gets you into the feel of this film. The music and the score of this film is a major part. Rarely in a movie that is this cheap has music that feels so rich. Hits perfectly during the action and gunfights and brings an unease and intensity it's going for. With the character of Domino being a musician, I really enjoy the songs that he sings. I'm not a guitar player, but I do know a little. And from what I see, it seems quite accurate to the notes that he's playing to what is being shown on film, which is very rare for a lot of movies, and especially a movie like this. You wouldn't expect that. The acting here is also top-notch. Consuelo does a great job in his role, charming, sweet, and someone you feel bad for. I also love Carlos Garcia as a big brooding force. His intensity is always seen in his films, and all of his action scenes are great. And Peter Marsullet, sorry if I mispronounced that, as Marquaro, is a perfectly level of douchebag that this story needs. And also shout out to Mexican Freddie Mercury, who somehow got into this movie. With some of these low budget films, they can fall into the trap of little to no locations, but this film is not that. Uses locations to the best of its ability. The camera work and look of this film I absolutely love. I love the hazy, dreamlike feel of the color grading. The camera rarely feels still. Not every director is a good cinematographer, but I thought Rodriguez really pulled through here. He must have been running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He was practically doing everything on this film except for acting. He did the makeup and the special effects, which definitely feels the cheapest part of this film, but it's certainly not just let's just throw some ketchup on it. I think it's just there's a few moments of dumb gun logic where it doesn't make sense to where he's aiming or how he didn't get hit by anything, but I would in no way say that it's cheesy. It gets its message across and probably with more money could have done a lot more. The film flows at a great pace, never leaving you confused or bored. It has a great ending that perfectly sets up the sequels for this film that I've yet to see. But overall, I think this film was a blast. Showed Rodriguez's talent at such a young age, his great talent at filming and storytelling, and this film is just so damn impressive. This film is also very inspirational in the way that you can feel like you could make a movie like this. If you put a lot of hard work, dedication, really spent your time with it, you could make a film like this. And during this time that there was a lot people were making their own films and the accessibility to get cameras and effects and things like that, we're getting a lot more accessible. And Rodriguez really cemented himself as one of those great directors and has continued with a career that has been now decades in working. So I think this film is really great. I really impose people that you should go see it. I'm going to give this film an 8.3 out of 10. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.